Have been there, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been in this situation. You're at a conference or a workshop, or maybe it's even just an event in your conference room in your company. And you walk in and you're ready to learn, or you're ready to hear from the speaker that you've heard so much about, or this person, this leader that you really respect, and this leader that you want to learn something from. And they get started. And it sounds something like this. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, suddenly, this thing you're anticipating, this opportunity to learn, this opportunity to, connect and be getting something out of the time you're spending in this room, it's a waste because the speaker was boring. Oh, we've all happened. Raise your hand if it's happened to you. Raise your hand if you have been guilty of boring people. Yeah, that's happened to me. I'm almost ashamed to say it. But I've learned a lot of things along the way, not only from watching people as they're speaking, but then from actually doing it myself and learning from masters and mentors and people who really know how to present, and not just present to big rooms at conferences, but to present to the 3 people who are sitting at your team meeting, or maybe the 1 person who's across the desk from you for your one-on-one, if you're a leader or a manager or managing a team or project. So today we're going to dive into ways that you can learn to present with more fun and less stress. So how does that sound? If you're just joining me here for the first time, my name's Darcy Eikenberg, and I lead the work we do at redcaperevolution.com. Our work there is totally focused on helping you bring your superpowers to work. I'm putting on that red cape in your career and really soaring through not only your work and your life. So I'm so glad you're here with us today. Please be sure to give us a like, give us a hey, say hello. We're so glad to see you. Now, one of the things that I do in addition to being an executive coach is that also I'm a speaker. And so I'm one of those people that's up there on stage sometimes, teaching, telling stories, trying to inspire and motivate ideas and different thinking. And believe me, the last thing any of us who put ourselves up on a stage want to do is be boring. So I was so afraid of that early in my career. And I honestly, as I said, I think I was a little boring, maybe a lot boring, many times. So here are some of the things that I've learned. And these are things that you can put into place right away, whether you're speaking to thousands, hundreds, or maybe just 1 other person in your office. So the first strategy is to be more interested than interesting. Be more interested than interesting. If you're on stage or you're the focus of attention, a lot of us feel the pressure that, I have to be interesting, I have to be clever, or I have to be the person that they're going to talk about later. But sometimes when we're trying to be so darn interesting, we work too hard at it. And people can tell that we're working really hard at it. So why not first work to be interested? Are you interested in the topic that you're presenting, in the stories that you're sharing, in the thing you're teaching, in the results that your company has made? If you're not interested in what you're talking about, that's going to show through. People are going to know that you're not interested. And in turn, click, they'll tune off too. Oh, sure, they may still be in the room and nodding and going, uh-huh. But more likely, they're going to be doing the thumb dance, right? Or they're going to be doing, their laundry list or recapping the last episode of Game of Thrones or something. So you can do better. First, make sure that you you're interested in what you're talking about. And when you're interested, when you're curious, when you're fascinated, when you're intrigued, that comes out. Now, how do you know how you get interested in your topic? Well, hopefully you're saying no strategically to any opportunity to speak that is not on something that you are passionate and curious and interested and expert about. Not even expert. Let me take that out, because I think you can get up to speak about things that you're not an expert about. Because I think you can speak and share things from your personal experience. We sometimes think you have to be perfect, you have to be the expert. That's not true. I think what you have to be is human. So there's another strategy, is to remember the human part of your talk. And that's not only how you experience a topic as a human, but what's going on for your audience. We often think, well, I just have to get up there and get it done. Roll through it and get it done. But we're talking to a group of humans, right? Humans have needs. Humans have ideas. And a lot of times, here's another secret. The humans in the room don't really care as much about you as they care about themselves and about connecting with each other. So how can you make your presentation into more of a conversation? This is a way that takes a lot of the stress off of you and can make it a lot more fun for the people that are listening to you. How do you give them permission to connect with each other? If you've ever been to one of my live events, one of the workshops or conferences that I've spoken at, 99% of the time, we always find a space where I give you something to connect with each other on. And not in that old-fashioned, let's take 10 minutes and assess and analyze this stuff. No, for my talks, and you can do this too. I give them something short, sweet, and timed. Yes? I'll often say, for the next minute, share with your partner this particular thing or that particular thing. But 1 minute, maybe sometimes even 30 seconds. And I like to connect people one-on-one because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, right? And even those of you who have said, "Oh, I'm really introverted. I really don't like to, be in a group or be in front of people." Being able to connect, when you connect people one-on-one, gives people a chance to build a relationship, to get a little taste of somebody else's life without making them feel embarrassed in front of a bunch of people or feel stupid or out of place. You, as a presenter, can create this environment. You can create more conversation and less presentation. So, another strategy is to let your slides be a guide. Your speech should not be on the slides. And let me tell you, if any of you are organizing conferences or events for your business and you want to get all your speakers slides in advance and hand them out, stop. Do not go further. No. Slides were never meant to be the reading material. If I'm going to hand out everything I talk about on the slide, then I may as well just give you a book and tell you to go at it yourself. Have a good day. Why are we there live in person? Why am I connecting with this human being in the room? It's not so that we can read a bunch of slides together. This is in 3rd grade, right? Bullets kill people. Your slides should only be a guide to the process of sort of milestones in where you are. They shouldn't be information to memorize. And in fact, and believe me, this has happened to me, you should be prepared to talk about whatever you've come to talk about, the thing you're interested in, remember? Even if you didn't have your slides. Even if you just had a note card that said, the opening story, here's 3 facts, and here's the thing I want to ask for at the end. You should be able to get away without that. Your slides should only be a guide. They shouldn't be a crutch. So, if you've been speaking with too many slides, with too many bullets that kill, try shifting to the conversation. Try thinking about the humans in the room. What is it that they need to care about? What's curious? What's interesting? What's the thing that you want them to understand, and why should they understand it? You know, at the heart of all of this is that we can't just say, we're a good speaker, so we're going to wing it. Or I know my topic well, so we're going to wing it. You need to be respectful of the people who will be in the room. Remember those human beings with needs, those human beings with curiosity. You're not just talking to the wall. And the only way to be respectful is to prepare. You know, I often say that preparation is the antidote to fear. And I've heard too many overconfident leaders, when they're getting ready to do a presentation at their annual meeting or at a big event, say, well, yeah, I'll go through the results and then I'll answer any questions. I don't need to prepare. Or worse, I don't have time to prepare. We've got so much else going on. I'll just do my thing. No, I don't care how confident you are. Taking the time to prepare. What is it that I'm interested in, that I want to share? Who are the humans in the room? How do I want to make sure that I'm not just using slides with bullets that kill? How do I want to make sure that if I have visuals, if I need them at all, that they're a guide to help the conversation flow? The preparation is the only way to do this. And even if you think you don't have time, taking the space to prepare in advance lets you relieve the stress of not knowing what might happen. You know, this is the story I'm going to end up with. You know, this is how I'm going to get started and how I'll roll into it. There is nothing wrong with rehearsal, with practice. And I've heard some people say, well, they worry that, you know, don't want to sound stiff. They don't want to sound over-practiced. Well, believe me, if you are focused on the conversation, not the presentation, if you're focused on the humans in the room, you are not going to come off as overly rehearsed, as overly formal. Now, you will if you try to follow old school teaching that says, here's what you do first, here's what you do second, here's what you do third. You have to create the conversation that's right for you and for what you want and for what your audience wants in that presentation. The last strategy, tip, idea, whether you're presenting to a big crowd or whether you're just presenting to a couple people, is to remember to breathe and smile. We underestimate the power of this right here, right? I don't mean in a fakey, smiley kind of way. But I always will remember a story that I heard Michael Hyatt, the speaker and blogger, tell, where someone had been watching him during a meeting. And the person went up to him afterward and said, I'm sorry, but were you upset by something going on in this meeting? And he was taken aback. He's like, no, why would you think something like that? It's like, because that's what your face was saying throughout the meeting. If everything's okay, you better tell your face. And so Michael has taught, and I believe, and I've noticed this in myself and in the clients that I've worked with on both their internal speaking and external speaking at events like South by Southwest or TEDx Talks, that Smiling and remembering to smile gives you another chance to connect with the humans in the room and gives you a chance to feel good about this topic that you care about, this topic that you're here to teach, the ideas you're here to share. Human beings are designed to connect with a smile. The smile biologically sends off a signal that this is safe. And so if you're somebody who you're not sure, are you smiling very much when you're giving a talk, a presentation, even if it's serious information? There's something where you can smile, where you can connect with your audience. A great way to be able to judge this is to ask for help. Ask somebody who's going to be in one of your next audience's rooms, conference rooms, work rooms, anywhere where you're going to be presenting and speaking. Ask them to watch and tell you later, did I smile? Did I feel like to you that I was happy to be there? That no matter what the content I was delivering, that I was focused more on being interested in what was going on than trying really hard to be interesting. Let's focus more on everybody else, the humans in the room, rather than about just my point of view or what I had to say. Having a buddy in the room and setting it up in advance shows that you trust them. It gives you the feedback that you cannot tell on your own. I mean, sure, it's nice to be videotaped. It's great to look at that later. But the videotape can't tell you, how did an actual human read that facial expression? How did an actual human feel about what I was trying to say? Because the last secret around great presentations where you can have more fun and they can be delivered with less stress not only for you, but for your audience, is that you just have to show that you care, that it matters, that the time we're spending here today is worth it, is valuable, and that you're in service, not in submission to a bunch of bullets, but you're there to help the people in the room with whatever that topic is. So, those were a bunch of different topics about how we can make presentations more fun, less stressful. Stop thinking about them as a burden or as a worry if you're somebody who doesn't like speaking, whether it's in public to big rooms or in public to just a small room. Knowing how to connect with your audience, to create conversations instead of presentations, is a great way to build your leadership profile, to get more exposure, and more importantly, to connect and make a difference with the people that you work with every single day. It's a great way to put your red cape on and start soaring in your life at work. If you want more ideas about the presentations that you have to give or anything that's in your work and life, I am happy to answer your questions here on a future Facebook Live or on my blog at redcaperevolution.com. If you're not already getting my regular emails with our tips and career ideas, come on over and sign up. Download some of my free tools and check us out, because we're here to help you have that red cape career that is going to make you soar. And you know what? We need you now more than ever in the world of work. Until next time, I'm Darcy Eikenberg.